The Goat House is back with my official Pro Bowl ballot for the 2024 NFL season, breaking down all the players that I think should make it. We are sitting in week 15, so things could slightly change, but excited to break down my ballot. Starting with the 6 quarterbacks that should make the Pro Bowl. Again, we are sitting in week 15, so things could slightly change, but my number one vote is going to go to Josh Allen, who, in my opinion, I have as the best quarterback in football right now and is the front runner for the MVP along with Saquon Barkley. He's been absolutely elite, outstanding this year. Second vote, we'll go for Lamar Jackson here. He's adding some more passing production compared to normal, so pretty impressive. Joe Burrow is going to be my third pick. Perfect world, being able to close out games. He's doing enough to close out games. It's not really his fault. The defense has been maybe the worst in football, but perfect world, win some more games, but has been absolutely unreal this year. Next, a guy that none of us expected to be voting for before the year, but we're going to go Sam Darnold, who is absolutely heating up and climbing up my quarterback ranks recently. Absolutely on fire. It looks like the Vikings made a genius move moving on from Kirk Cousins and adding Sam Darnold. He's been playing very, very good. It is a really good system with good receivers over there. And then my fifth pick is going to be for Jared Goff here, who's been very, very accurate on the year and just winning football games, clutch at the end of games, clutch on fourth down. So he definitely deserves a spot in the Pro Bowl. So there's only one remaining. This is where it gets tough. It came down to Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, and Jalen Hurts. And of course, some other guys have been playing pretty well. Some of the rookies have been playing pretty well. Baker Mayfield I thought he played better a little earlier in the year than compared to recently. Mahomes, obviously, closing out games, winning games. I feel like he's been a little off compared to his normal self. But I'm going to go with Matt Stafford, actually. I think he's playing. The stats look good. I think he's playing better than what the stats show. He's been very clutch. You could see when you watch all these quarterbacks, you could see he's probably number one, but at least top three in just knowledge, just reading defenses. So I'll go with Matt Stafford. So it is tough leaving Jalen Hurts, his dual threat. Justin Herbert only has one interception, and he's been very accurate, been playing a little bit better, but now the offense is going downhill. Just so many games where that offense just doesn't do a whole lot. Now, he doesn't have the best receivers, so that'd be the deciding factor for Stafford over Herbert and Hurts, who were next in line for me. But those are my 6 quarterbacks there: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford. Let me know yours in the comments. My 6 running backs I have making the Pro Bowl here. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, a legit MVP candidate. Right now, it feels like Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, he's my number 1 vote at the running back position. My number 2 vote, my second running back right now, is Derrick Henry. Obviously, doing big-time things with the Baltimore Ravens. Seems like when he goes off pretty much every week, but when he goes off, the Ravens are like guaranteed to win games. Just a big-time, valuable player for the Baltimore Ravens. My next pick I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs next. I mean, one of the better, more explosive home run hitting running backs in the NFL, and obviously a pretty solid pass catcher as well. He's been very, very impressive for the Lions. Next, I like Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon has actually carried the Texans at times, especially when Nico Collins was out. Feels like they kind of rely, it's surprising, but they rely on Joe Mixon to go absolutely crazy for them to win games. He's done a very, very good job. Another guy that's done good job as a pass catcher as well. Definitely Josh Jacobs. He's been heating up, starting to get more touchdowns. Early in the year, wasn't getting a lot of touchdowns, but now racking up production, but a physical runner, obviously. There's only 1 vote left that's actually really, really tough. So it's between a few guys. You see statistically some guys at the top, Kamara, Bijan, you see there. I consider those guys, especially Bijan. Kyren Williams, the touchdowns he's racking up. And then David Montgomery. I'm just a huge, huge fan of the Lions running back duo. But I ended up going, it's tough not going any of those guys. I ended up going Devon Achane. His involvement in that offense, like he's been that best player, best weapon for Tua, even when Tua was out, and most productive weapon on that offense. His involvement in the running game and as a pass catcher, very, very much impressed with him. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, Kyren with all those touchdowns, he does have some fumbles this year. So, and then Kamara's been great. My snubs, the guys that just missed, it was very tough to leave out David Montgomery and Bijan Robinson here, but all those guys that I mentioned and more have been really solid. So you see, Barkley and King Henry are just locks, so obvious to me. Gibbs, Jacobs, Mixon right there, and then I went with Achane, my 6th spot. 6 receivers we have to pick out. This is the toughest one out of all the positions because we're going to leave some damn good guys that are deserving out here. Some obvious ones at the top. You definitely have to go Ja'Marr Chase and Justin Jefferson, the old duo at LSU. And not too old. But Ja'Marr Chase felt like the most dominant, the most productive. Justin Jefferson, it's pretty insane how productive he is given the amount of double and even triple teams that he's faced. So been an absolute focus for a lot of teams and opening things up for everybody else there and looking at what Sam Darnold has done. So those 2 for sure. And then the other guys, I got too many to pick 4 more. I'm going to list off the guys I'm strongly considering. CeeDee Lamb, very productive, obviously a dominant player. JSN has really emerged here. Terry McLaurin, been awesome with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Amon-Ra St. Brown, super consistent, racking up touchdowns. Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins. These guys have missed some time, but have been absolutely dominant and such impact players. I can't sit here. I know you miss games, that's a problem, but I can't sit here and not vote for Puka Nacua. How dominant he has been down the field, underneath, everywhere. The hands, the catches he makes, how impactful he's been when he's on the field. Pretty ridiculous. And the same thing goes for Nico Collins. He's missed some time, but there was a big stretch before he got injured, and now he's back, obviously, throughout the season where I'm watching this guy this guy is just as good as Justin Jefferson. I'm kind of questioning it. Like Justin Jefferson, Ja'Marr Chase, is he in the conversation with those guys up there? So 2 more spots left. Oh yeah, we have to go CeeDee Lamb. Perfect world, catch the ball a little bit more consistently. But Dak wasn't playing that great. Cooper Rush is his quarterback now. And he's still dominant, still productive, still a problem after the catch as well. So you have to go CeeDee Lamb. 1 more spot remaining, and like the guys I considered, this is mainly between Terry McLaurin, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and A.J. Brown. Strongly consider JSN as well. What Jerry Jeudy's doing is pretty impressive. But that's tough. I'm going to give some love to Terry McLaurin. He's done some great things down the field, with coverage on him, making big-time plays, but also getting separation, getting open, making plays, just helping Jaden Daniels as a rookie look as good as he has. But, man, this is tough. Like, it hurts me. It legit hurts me to not vote for some of these guys here. Mainly, St. Brown and A.J. Brown are the main ones I'm looking at there. But Cortland Sutton's been unreal, too. So giving shout-outs to some other guys. Garrett Wilson's making some incredible grabs, obviously, but those are the 6 that I've chosen. For fullbacks, these are the guys that I went with. You see them marked: Juszczyk, Lupke, Ingold, Michael Burton, C.J. Ham, and Patrick Ricard. So those are the 6 fullbacks. Not a whole lot to choose from, but those I feel are the best and most deserving of making the Pro Bowl. Tight end is fairly easy to pick. I mean, it's not all about stats with all these guys, but the guys that have looked best, eye test, also for the most part, have been the most productive. My number 1 vote is going to go for George Kittle. I think George Kittle is the best tight end in football right now. The work he does everywhere on the field, the toughness after the catch, but yeah, being a big-time factor in the red zone, finding the end zone. So many big plays to George Kittle. Just almost feels like, could he be getting better? That's crazy to think about. And then Brock Bowers, I think, has been the second best tight end, arguably the number 1. He has the most yards by far. And just slightly more impressed with George Kittle. Well, I guess impressed. Bowers is a rookie, but those guys are kind of the 1A, 1B for sure in there. You wish McBride was a little more productive in the red zone, in the end zone, I should say, but been a big-time receiving threat. How about Jonnu Smith? Has been a big-time factor for the Miami Dolphins, a key guy you can scheme things up for, but you watch him get open, make big-time plays, everywhere on the field. And, go Travis Kelce. I don't think he's quite as good as he was like 2-3 years ago, but he's still obviously very, very solid. So those 5 are pretty obvious. Next in line, you got a battle between quite a few guys, but I do like what Tucker Kraft is doing on the Green Bay Packers, so I'm going to go at Kraft as that number 6 spot. But I like what Otten's doing as well. Considered him. There's some surprises that really aren't be as productive as we expected. Consider Mark Andrews, but he started the year off slow, kind of disappeared, had some drops as well. But he is right there as well. But those are my 6 tight ends. On to the 6 offensive tackles. We're going to have to scroll to find my number 1 guy here. There it is. A lot of people's number 1 guy. Penei Sewell of the Detroit Lions. Staying in the division here, looking for Brian O'Neill, the Vikings right tackle. Christian Darrisaw was actually looking like the best tackle in football before he got injured. That was tough. Brian O'Neill's done a phenomenal job. You look at his, like Sewell, pass protection plus run blocking. It's like, which one's he better at? Because he's so good at both. Absolutely dominant run blocker. Then we're looking for both Eagles tackles. We're going to go with Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. Lane Johnson, what he's doing still, and again, how effective he is in terms of pass protection and run blocking. You combine them both, and how long he's been in the league, and he's had some injuries here and there. Obviously, what he's doing is super impressive. So we have 2 left. We definitely want to go with Tristan Wirfs of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, definitely one of the better ones. And then the last spot, how about, I know who it is, I'm just finding him. Teron Armstead of the Miami Dolphins, really picking up this year. I think by far the best offensive lineman on that team. I thought he's been very, very impressive. But it's always tough leaving Trent Williams out. He's been missing some games recently. There's quite a few tackles. I like Rasheed Walker on the Packers. Not that he was next in line. Deion Dawkins is very, very solid. Joe Alt as a rookie. The Chargers duo overall, Slater and Alt, have done pretty well. I'm missing somebody. That was kind of my 7th spot. My 7th guy here, kind of going down the list. We talked about Trent Williams, right? Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles was the one that was next in line for me. Taylor Moton's really solid for the Panthers, but the Broncos' offensive line's been very, very good. Bowles just got an extension. He does get penalized a bit, obviously. Taylor Decker, the Lions duo, is really good. When he's in there, I know he's been injured a little bit, but Bowles was that one that was the toughest to leave out. But there you have it for my 6 offensive tackles, all very, very, very high-end players. On to my 6 guards. I already have them filled out because it takes me a while to find them, but Quinn Miners has been the Broncos guard who has been the most impressive in my opinion, and I actually went with the duo for the Denver Broncos. Ben Powers has been a big-time pickup for them. You see, I went Joe Thuney. He's one of the very best in football. Quentin Nelson, one of the better run blockers in football. Same with Robert Hunt of the Panthers. Him and Nelson are in the same boat. Much better run blockers than pass protectors, but they've really been dominant run blockers, and that's what you look for in guards here. And then almost forgot one of them. Well, didn't almost forget. I have them selected, but one of the very, very best, Lindstrom of the Falcons. He's up there with Miners right now for, in my opinion, the best in football. Lindstrom, Miners, Thuney, probably the top 3 in football. So those are the guys I went with at the guard position. My 6 centers that I picked, Creed Humphrey, obviously number 1. Frank Ragnow also up there for the very best in football with Creed Humphrey. Went Tyler Linderbaum. The new Cowboy, rookie, Cooper Beebe, and then the former Cowboy, Tyler Biadasz, I think is playing pretty damn well for the Commanders. Very much impressed with him. And another rookie, definitely Zach Frazier's been playing very, very well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there are your 6. We got a couple rookies. We got the former Cowboy surprise there. And Biadasz and then we kind of have the big time, elite players, Ragnow, and Humphrey, and then Linderbaum's kind of up there in that conversation as well. On to defensive ends, and this isn't all the edge rushers. Some of the edge rushers are with the outside linebacker position group, so don't worry if you're not seeing a guy here. But Danielle Hunter is my first pick. I think Danielle Hunter has been arguably the best defensive end in all of football this year. Trey Hendrickson is the leader in sacks. You have to go with Myles Garrett as well. But those 3 are absolute monsters. Those should be locks for you. Then I'm going to go Max Crosby. You wish he was a little more productive given you think he could be the sack leader, but it's not all about sacks. He's getting pressure. He's a game wrecker, and he's probably the best stopping a run out of these guys, but they're all pretty damn good as well. 2 more votes. Going to go for Will Anderson as well. So Texans get their pass rush duo in there. And then we'll go Nick Bosa. You think he's capable a little bit more. And it's tough leaving out. It's between him and Micah Parsons there. But honestly, not a long list. There's not like a whole lot we're feeling bad about leaving out. There's a lot of underwhelming guys here that are supposed to be a lot better, a lot more productive. But obviously a lot of them still good players. But Hunter, Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, those are the locks. Those 3 are at the top of the defensive end and at the top of just the edge rusher category in general, but you see the rest that I voted for as well. And let's skip ahead to the outside linebackers because there's some off-ball linebackers in here, but there's also some edge rushers, and we just talked about the edge rushers at the defensive end position. So, obvious one, TJ Watt, maybe the best defensive player in football. Got to go with him. I'm going to go with Andrew Van Ginkel. We're actually going to go with a pair of Vikings here. We're going to go Andrew Van Ginkel, who's been insane for them. He gets some time off ball as well as off the edge, mainly off the edge, and he's been very productive getting the quarterback, but he's been very, very productive getting his hands on the ball with the pass deflections, the interceptions, the touchdowns. He is super instinctive, and Jonathan Grenard, I believe, leads the NFL in pressures, and he's been very productive for them as well. So they essentially traded Danielle Hunter for Jonathan Grenard. You could argue Grenard's been a little more productive with pressures, but I do think Danielle Hunter's the better player, but Grenard is the younger player. So then we have 3 spots left. Been very impressed with Nick Bonito and the Denver Broncos defense. 2 more. We definitely want to give some love to an off-ball linebacker. Frankie Lavu has really come along. The first couple weeks started a little slow, but then really got going, as an off-ball linebacker. That was one of the big-time signings of free agency. And then, not a long list of guys that, who am I considering? Will McDonald's very productive. Dante Fowler Jr. has been very, very productive. Odafe Oweh has been very good. Harold Landry, I think, has been solid. But how about Fowler? I think he's really stepped up and really impressed for the Washington Commanders. So we get 2 Washington Commanders from this list of the outside linebackers led by TJ Watt here. Defensive tackles, I was going to show Dexter Lawrence some love still, even though he's injured, but I guess they removed him from the ballot. I thought he was up there for the best defensive player in football before he got injured, but I was going to give him some love anyways. But defensive tackles, you got to go. Leonard Williams is playing very, very well for the Seattle Seahawks. Speaking of the Giants, he's a former New York Giant. But yeah, Leonard Williams for the Seahawks been playing out of his mind this year. So we're going to go with him. Zach Allen's been playing very, very well for the Denver Broncos. The guy that's been playing a little bit better than expected, but a big-time piece. For them, definitely have to go with Stone Cold Jones there, one of the better interior defensive players in general. So we have 3. We need 3 more, some tough guys that I am deciding. Jalen Carter, I think, he got 4.5 sacks. It feels like when I watch him play, it feels like he's more productive than that. That's because he's winning reps. He's just an absolute disruptor. So we're going to go with Jalen Carter. We're going to go Cam Hayward with that much production for sure at that age. Been very, very, very impressive. And then that final spot, Brian Bruzzy's been really impressive. Turner keeps racking up production even without Aaron Donald there. Quinnen Williams is always good. I love me some Vita Vea. I mean, the Buccaneers are always solid stopping the run, and it's because of him, and he's just a, straight up run stuffer, and he still gets that production. I'm always impressed with Vita Vea. So I was planning on voting for Dexter Lawrence still, getting him that love there, but I guess they removed him unless I'm blind, but I went through this and I didn't see him. There's a giant. Yeah, so he's just not on there. But shout out Dexter Lawrence for sure. Somebody they did not remove from the ballot. I'm going to give him some love. DeMarvion Overshown. I mean, I feel so bad because he just, once again, tore up his knee. 2nd time injured, only his 2nd year. But he was the best linebacker that I watched this year. He was unreal. Just obviously a slasher type linebacker. Very, very much impressed with him. I'm going to give him some love. He's not going to be able to, or maybe he'll still make the roster because it's so late, but he just got injured, so that's unfortunate. Deion Henley's been very, very good, very impressive, a young player for the LA Chargers there. Been very much impressed with him. He was a safety just a few years ago in college. So what he's doing at the linebacker position on one of the better defenses in football right now, very impressive. Zach Bond has been a pleasant surprise there for the Philadelphia Eagles. So what do we got? 3. I'm going to go Nick Bolton of the Chiefs as well. We need 2 more. Bobby Wagner still doing it. That Commanders linebacker duo looks pretty good. And we'll go Fred Warner. I know he hasn't been playing as well lately. It's because he's not really 100%, it seems like, but still makes some unreal game-changing plays. Another guy that it was at 6 already. Jamian Sherwood's looked pretty good for the Jets. Another guy that's changed his position over the years, going from college to the NFL. So I thought he has stood out as well. But those are my 6 linebackers. Corner is another position. It's tough to leave some guys out. There's so many good corners in the NFL right now, but you obviously have to go with who we feel like is the best in football right now. That's Patrick Surtain of the Broncos. Broncos defense has been awesome when healthy as well. So we're going to go with Surtain. We're going to go, I got to find him. Going to go with, could go with a couple Eagles rookies there, but Quinyon Mitchell's been one of the best corners in football, arguably the best rookie in football. Cooper DeJean's going to be a guy that just misses for me. We're going to go McDuffie, been locked down for the Chiefs, the guy that has the most responsibility out there, especially when you look at how much he plays over the variety of alignments. You're looking at outside and inside corner. So that is 3. Tough to find some of these guys sometimes, but I'm looking for, I could just say it, we're looking for Denzel Ward here. There he is. Denzel Ward, I feel like he's been targeted a little bit more than usual. If I'm not mistaken, just based off the eye test, what I've watched, I feel like usually it's just teams are scared to throw that way. I feel like he's been targeted a little bit more. He's been getting his hands in the ball, pass deflection machine. Still one of the better corners in football. 2 spots left. Byron Murphy's been making some unreal plays in crucial situations for the Minnesota Vikings. And another guy that I love the guys that make just as much of an impact when they play inside and out, but does some really good work on the inside, which is a tough job as well. We have one more left. Oh, man. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like Marlon Humphrey, Derek Stingley, Christian Gonzalez, but, mainly Humphrey and Stingley are guys that are snubs, that are just missing the cut for me. Cooper DeJean, Jalen Johnson of the Bears, these are guys that are snubs. They're just missing the cut because there's 2 guys I'm deciding between here. Demordor Lenore of the 49ers, who's really emerging as their top corner, and Zion McCollum. They're right next to each other, too. McCollum started the year off like maybe he was the best corner in football. It's kind of went down a little bit since then. The Buccaneers' pass defense is pretty brutal, but he's been really, really good for them. And Lenore has been awesome for the 49ers. Oh, that's tough. I'm going to go Lenore. Tough leaving McCollum out. That's a tough one there. Corners, just like receivers, they got to cover those guys that are absolute freaks. There's so many good corners in football right now. Strong safety, there's some obvious ones at the top. Kyle Hamilton and Brian Branch, some of the best in football. So those are 2, no question. After that, there isn't a long list of guys that are like, yes, those are for sure. I mean, they're Pro Bowl worthy, but they're not like Hamilton and Branch. But I like Julian Love a lot, what he does, a big-time playmaker for the Seattle Seahawks. And then we'll give Budda Baker some love. We have 2 spots left. We'll go Derwin James, and we will go. There's a few good guys here, but I'll give the rookie some love. Kalen Bullock has done a really good job, and they'll play a lot of split safety. He'll line at strong. He'll line at free. So I think he's doing a pretty good job for a rookie. Some people were talking about he may have to move to corner, but sticking at that position that he played at USC, he's done a really solid job. So those are my strong safeties. Free safeties, and once again, there's a clear-cut guys at the top. Xavier McKinney has been, I'm clicking on this screen instead of that screen. I have it up over there. But he's been one of the better playmakers in all of football. What a big-time signing that was for the Green Bay Packers. And Kirby Joseph of the Detroit Lions, I was a massive fan when he was at Illinois. So much upside, playmaking ability, and he's already shown that early in his career. Those are the 2 obvious ones, and much like strong safety, we're going to go with Jesse Bates as well. Still, I know the Falcons' pass defense isn't too great, but still one of the better playmakers in all of football. He's doing a lot better job getting downhill and making plays, through tackling, forcing fumbles. So those 3 are no question. And then, I think those 3 separate themselves from the rest. Then it's there's no elite for seasons for sure, but I think Amani Hooker's actually been pretty impressive. I keep clicking the wrong spot. For the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, sneakily have one of the better pass defenses in football. I thought he's done a really good job for them. And we're actually going to go with some of the guys at the top here. Reed Blankenship, the Eagles defense has been awesome because that secondary, he's getting better, it feels like every game. And we'll give Kobe Bryant some love of the Seattle Seahawks. He was a star corner at Cincinnati. Didn't work out right away. And that's because he was kind of strictly a man coverage corner in the NFL, runs a lot of zone. So Seahawks go, hey, let's move him to safety now, and we'll see if that works. And he's been really solid for them. So I'm actually a guy that I'm looking forward to watching more of. So those are the free safeties that I'll go with for the Pro Bowl as of right now. Here are my kickers, and what I'm looking for here with the kickers are just consistency, making kicks, and then obviously can you hit the clutch kicks. Feels like Boswell's been the best in football. Aubrey is the flashiest. He does have some misses, but definitely got to go with him. Dicker is very consistent making his kicks. So there is 3 so far. Got 3 more. Nick Folk, very consistent, barely misses. Harrison Butker, even though he's missing some games right now, he's still one of the best clutch kicker. And the Chiefs have needed the field goals at times this year as well. And I forgot to mention one, didn't I? Bates of the Lions. They don't kick a ton because they go on fourth. I mean, he's still kicked a bit, but he's barely missed, been very consistent, and they call on him at the end of the games. At the end of the games, they go for it to run the clock, and then they rely on the kick, and he makes it. So I'll give him some love. It is tough not going with some guys here. Fairbairn's been clutch. He has missed, I think, 6 kicks. Oh, yeah, it says right there, 6 kicks. Lutz has been pretty good for the Broncos. Sanders has been pretty clutch, especially lately, but he's missed some kicks here and there. So it's tough not going with some of these guys that are very good, but those are the 6 that I feel are the best. But that'll wrap up what I kind of wanted to cover here on my Pro Bowl ballot as we are in Week 15. We have weekly picks, weekly score predictions, locks, power rankings, and a lot more covering the NFL. So if you're new, please like, subscribe, turn notifications on because you don't want to miss any of that content, even have you covered in the offseason with free agency and the draft. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.